Hello everyone, nice to be here on board. Thank you for inviting me, for having me for this discussion. I'll be gladly presenting you the story from a real small city, a really small town, one rural municipality of Skawine. Wait, I'm sharing the screen with you. Can you see it, the presentation?
Now, yes, you have.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'm going to share with you our experience in mobility planning in a slightly smaller municipality in Poland. So the structure of the presentation is as it goes. I'm going to go quite quickly. So some basic information about our municipality. So more or less, it's here. It's located in the south, just next by to the city of Krakow. So it's within the functional urban area of Krakow, a little bit southwest of Krakow. We are about 100 square kilometers, 43,000 people in this urban rural municipality. So about the split is about half and half. So we have here the town of Skawine, 22 more or less inhabitants and 23,000 people living here in a valley of the river Vistula and in the hills down south. The density is 433 persons per square kilometer, more or less evenly distributed, and the situation with the car ownership or car distribution is 1.1 cars per person. So we have more cars than inhabitants. This is, I guess, pretty common situation in small towns and municipalities, unfortunately. We are divided into the town and 16 villages, so you can see the division here. And our transportation network is as it looks here. You have a national road number 44 going west to the east, and a little bit south, route number 52 going to Bielsko-Biała. We also have two railroads, 97, 94, going westbounds and going southbounds. So this is how it is. Also, we have a river, but it's not being used extensively, only for freight and nothing more. So our transportation situation nowadays is dependent mostly on cars. We have a modal speed of about 60 up to 70% of users using the.
Yeah, Maciej, that's always a problem of webinars. Yeah. People keep coming in, but so yeah, it's somewhat hard to listen. So please ask them to stay quiet.
Yeah, I'll just kick him out. Okay.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. Continue.
Okay, so we are tightly bound to Krakow with our transportation system. So we are being served by Krakow metropolitan transportation operator. As well, we are being served by the public railroad, which goes through Skawine. So we are not totally independent in a way of using the public transportation, managing public transportation. So our mobility so far was highly dependent on this, but we tried to do it on our own. So we had, so far we had those strategic and operational documents. We had the mobility plan, which was delivered in 2016. It was a public document delivered by and outsourced by the company Via Vistula. And the same year we've created SUMP, but this year's SUMP was not made public. It was it was functioning as an internal instruction more than a public document, because it was very detailed and it was quite revolutionary in its content. So it was like a political decision not to make it public. Besides of that, we had a strategic development plan for municipality and urban rural rehabilitation plan. Both of those strategic documents had chapters that were referring directly to our mobility situation. So it was also quite important, I'm going to get to this a little bit later, to inherit this mobility planning into other documents. So our mobility plan was brilliant and is still brilliant. However, it's almost done because it's simple. It consists of 7 main points to be done, 7 main measures. We have the Skawine Mobility Center, Multimodal Mobility Hub, which is done, paid parking zone, which is done, increasing safety of pedestrians and bikers through building infrastructure and some other soft measures. This is also done. Rapid Metropolitan Railroad is almost done. It's going to be finished next year. It's not dependent on us, but we did everything we could on our end. Park and ride facilities network is in construction right now. We are constructing about 4 park and ride facilities now, with the biggest one being already finished this year. Public transportation quality improvements also has been done, including the low carb pilot clean bus project, which was implemented this year, and municipal bicycle sharing system, which will be implemented in upcoming months, also through the low carb project. And now the lessons learned and our current approach, because in this process we've learned pretty a lot. As you probably know, the smaller municipalities have limited resources, as Lasse said. Yeah, we only have like 2 people who are dealing with this on the daily basis, and it is not our only responsibility. So this is pretty difficult to make something bigger. So the most important lessons that we've learned that I can share with you is, first of all, work with your functional urban area. You can, I'll go into the details soon. Keep it simple as it's possible. Cluster the tasks, cluster the projects, cluster the tasks, and evaluate. Constantly evaluate, because it's a key for success, because you have to know on what you're standing at the moment. So first of all, work with a functional urban area. First of all, create broad partnership, because only then you can know what's going on around, and you're not going to take measures which are, for instance, counterproductive to other measures taken by other municipalities. And you can get the support from the bigger municipality, like we can get the support from Krakow. Like the low carb line is actually being managed by Krakow, not by us, because it's not within our spectrum of responsibilities. Looking for unusual suspects. Here I'll go to this slide, because the natural tendency, if you think about it, we are here. So the natural tendency is here, natural gravity is between Skawine and Krakow. This is our functional urban area. But when you evaluate it closer and you take a closer look, you will then realize that the people from here are going there through us. So they are like natural partners in mobility planning, because all of them have to go through our municipality. So we are becoming kind of a hub for them. So now we are planning our mobility not only in this direction, but also in this direction, and also in this direction, because they are not only going there, but they are also going northbound, for instance, to the airport, and eastbound, southbound here to our industrial zones. So this is quite important, and we haven't been thinking about this before. The third thing is inform, empower, engage. You have to work closely with other municipalities around you just to empower and to have partners to talk and work with. Because otherwise, if you have people who have no clue about what you're talking about, that you're not going to go anywhere. So the fourth thing is do the research to have a general idea and even more detailed idea of what you're doing, what you're standing on, measure, and take this time for the research. Engage universities if you can. They are quite often willing to take part in your research. Okay, next point is keep it simple. It has to be simple because it's easy to control, and when you have especially limited resources, you don't have any other choice. You have to keep it simple. So simple, understandable, and measurable goals. That will be easy to follow, easy to measure, not overly ambitious. You'll do the short, simple scale, small scale interventions, so you can just finish it and say, oh, it's done, and we move on. Yeah, and you can just take, I've done this. You can measure it and go start something else. Modular, so you can join the project. You can start a piece here, start a piece there, depending on the funding from the European projects that you can get. This is simple as this. For instance, we have funding for cycling, we have a funding for schools, and next year we're going to have funding for railroad infrastructure, and we can all put it together. This is simple. Adapt existing solutions, so just go to the internet, go to your friends, and copy solutions that were effective elsewhere. Like I'm talking to Urban, for instance, Urban, and Maya from Slovenia, and I'm looking at you in terms of the school mobility. Yeah. So this is simple as it is. I copy and I try to implement it there. Cluster, merge projects. Wherever you can, merge projects, because you have only like 2 people or 3 people or 1 person responsible for this. You have to merge those projects and try to solve one problem with another problem. This is possible, and we should try to do that. Bond with other documents and actions to ensure horizontal coherence. So put this mobility in other strategic documents. Wherever you can, just make it kind of a horizontal issue, so you relate to this mobility everywhere. In our scale of the city, 25,000 town and 45,000 municipality, it's really important to think in the categories of transit-oriented city. It's perfectly walkable, perfectly bikeable city. So think about that and try to make the mobility kind of a horizontal issue. Outsource what you can, but not everything. Don't do it like some Spanish cities do. So you're outsourcing everything from A to Z to other company. Always put someone from your municipality or even from other municipality to inform them, to empower them, and to teach them what we are talking about, to have partners to talk with. Build capacity within your team. It's the same for your team. Just involve more and more people, even as an observer, to just make them think about the mobility issues and expand knowledge. Go to the webinars like this one and try to learn more. Yeah. And evaluate. This is crucial because we quite often forget about evaluation. Ensure the data coherence and frequent evaluation, and ensure that you are measuring it the same way that the other municipalities are measuring, and you're measuring the same things in the same periods of time. So to have a comparable data, because otherwise you'll have a useless data. But okay, yeah, in fact you will have a data, but you cannot do anything with it. Manage your data and demand them from the others. So share your data, make it public. Open data solutions are cool. Use the projects to collect relevant data, other projects. So even if you're doing, for instance, urban rehabilitation plan, try to input some mobility measuring tool over there to make the other company measure something for you, like, I don't know, density of the bus stops or the length and quality of the biking and walking infrastructure, just to have it. And evaluate on every occasion, just as I said, and every occasion is good to do the evaluation. So this is our lessons learned, and the new approach that we have, Mobility Plan 2.0, the last slide, so easy. It's going to be a part, our idea is to create a polysump within the Krakow functional area as a big structure, as a framework for the smaller sumps to be plugged in to ensure the coherence of the all mobility planning within the functional urban area. It will be based on the new guidelines, which we are working on translation right now. We are also within the local project working on some self-assessment tool workshop. So it's going to connect everything. And it's going to be focused on the school travel, workplace mobility, and freight. So we have a main topics. And I also think that it's good, what Lasse said, to make like one leading topic for your municipality for a given period of time. So we're going to focus on mostly on school travel, workplace mobility, which is closely linked, and freight only because we never touched this topic. So now is the time, and it has to be modular, as I said. So I'm open for your questions. Thank you for your attention, and welcome to Skawine. Come and yeah,
thank you.
I'm going to give you a guided tour.
Yeah, it's good to hear that a lot has been done, and as you say, keep it simple and one step at a time. And it's also good to hear that you're also copying ideas from Slovenia. One thing you said in your presentation, I also took a note of. I didn't have to take screenshots because all this material will be later available online. Once you start research, you come up with surprises. So research is really crucial for what you did.
Yeah.
So any other surprises?
Yeah, there were many surprises. For instance, our until we did the research, we thought that the majority of the traffic goes to Krakow and from Krakow. And when we did the research, it appeared that it's only 40%. And the 60% of traffic is created within the municipality on the distances up to 5 kilometers. It's like mind-blowing, yeah, because it changes the whole perspective. It was like, we're trying to deal with some important topic, but it was not our main issue, because this is only one road or two roads, and the rest is happening elsewhere. It also had the pretty important geographical inclinations, yeah? Because the traffic to Krakow goes mostly from the west, from the east side, northeast, and the rest was happening southwest. So
yes,
that was really, really important.
So we shouldn't build on prediction, we should build on data, and that's so true. Maciej, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.